canceled my daughter's wedding because no one else would. My daughter Lily spent 6 months planning her dream wedding to a man named Ethan, who worked as a financial analyst downtown. She picked out ivory invitations with gold lettering, booked a historic mansion for the reception, and found the perfect dress at a boutique 3 towns over that cost more than my first car. I watched her transform our dining room into wedding planning headquarters with color swatches and seating charts covering every surface, her face glowing with happiness every time she talked about the ceremony. The wedding was scheduled for a Saturday in late September at a vineyard an hour outside the city, and Lily had 200 guests confirmed with responses still coming in daily. The invitations went out in early July with elegant calligraphy addressing each envelope, and Lily tracked every single RSVP in a spreadsheet she updated religiously. She called me one afternoon, practically vibrating with excitement because Ethan's family had finally confirmed they were all coming. I listened to her talk about how perfect everything was going to be while I stared at the invitation on my refrigerator, that expensive cardstock with Lily's name printed next to Ethan's like they were a real couple with a real future. My husband Richard had passed away from a heart attack 3 years ago, and watching our daughter plan this wedding without him was destroying me from the inside out. The final dress fitting was scheduled for a Wednesday in late August, and all the bridesmaids gathered at the boutique to see Lily in her completed gown. She emerged from the dressing room looking absolutely radiant in white silk with delicate lace sleeves. The seamstress made adjustments while Lily talked about how Ethan was going to cry when he saw her coming down the aisle. I stood in the back feeling like I was watching a play where everyone knew their lines except me, where I was the only person who understood we were all participating in something fundamentally wrong. 3 weeks before the wedding, Lily called me in a panic about the caterer. I listened to her stress about menu details for 40 minutes while my mind screamed that none of this mattered because there wasn't going to be a wedding. She'd been living in her own apartment downtown for the past 4 years, and I'd visited and seen the photos she'd carefully arranged on every surface. Photos of Lily smiling next to empty space where she'd positioned the camera to make it look like someone was standing beside her. Richard had been the one to first notice something was off about 2 years ago when Lily brought Ethan to Sunday dinner and spent the entire meal talking to an empty chair. After Richard died, Lily's relationship with Ethan had intensified dramatically. She'd call me daily with updates about their life together, how supportive he was being during her grief. The details she provided were so specific and consistent that I started to wonder if maybe I'd been wrong. But then Lily's neighbor Grace had called me 6 months ago sounding concerned. She said she'd heard Lily having full conversations with someone in her apartment multiple times a week. Grace had knocked on the door during one of these conversations and found Lily alone, sitting on her couch talking animatedly to the empty cushion beside her. When Grace asked if her boyfriend had left, Lily had looked confused and said no, Ethan was right there. Couldn't Grace see him? I'd driven to Lily's apartment that same day and let myself in with the spare key. Every surface held framed photos of Lily with empty space beside her. Some were clearly photoshopped with a strange blur where a person should have been. I found a stack of love letters in her bedroom, dozens of pages written in Lily's handwriting but signed with Ethan's name. In her closet hung men's clothes in various sizes, all with tags still attached because no one had ever worn them. I'd sat on her bed holding those letters and feeling my heart break completely, understanding that my daughter had created an entire relationship out of loneliness and grief. 2 weeks before the wedding, Lily asked me to finalize details with the venue coordinator. We walked through where the ceremony would take place, rows of white chairs facing an arbor decorated with roses. Lily kept referencing what Ethan wanted, and when she excused herself to use the restroom, the coordinator leaned closer and asked quietly if everything was all right with the bride. She said she'd once coordinated a wedding where the bride had a breakdown at the altar, and she wanted to make sure nothing similar was going to happen here. The question haunted me because I knew exactly what was going to happen. Lily would stand there in her beautiful dress waiting for a groom who didn't exist, and 200 guests would witness her complete psychological break in real time. 10 days before the wedding, I'd made the decision that was going to destroy my relationship with my daughter, but hopefully save her life. I started with the venue, calling and explaining we needed to cancel everything immediately. Then I called the caterer, the florist, the photographer, the band, the cake baker, methodically dismantling every piece of the wedding Lily had spent months planning. The intervention was scheduled for a Friday morning, exactly 1 week before the wedding was supposed to happen. I'd invited Lily over for breakfast with her best friend Madison, my sister Beverly, and a psychiatrist named Dr. Foster present. When Lily arrived cheerful and excited, I'd taken a deep breath before speaking the words that would change everything. The rest of the story is linked below or on my channel.